Welcome to Dani's Cabaret. Hi, I'm your host, Dani D, and I'm here with episode 2 of Dani's Cabaret. Okay, so as you can see by the title and maybe the description, we are talking about the birds and the bees. Yay! Because who doesn't have a good sex education? Anyways, like I always say, this is going deeper than that gift from episode 1 is still with us. Yay! Say hello to the guest host, Giovanni. Say hey. Bro, you know how to talk. Stop embarrassing me on the radio. There we go. Okay. Anyways, let's get into today's episode, today's topic. And just really deep dive into this. So, before I even get in, I have to give a shout out because on my story last weekend, I put give me some topics, some introduction topics to talk about on the next segment of the show. And then I got a lot of response, so yay. But I decided to give that one person a shout out, and that one person is Otisha. Shout out to her. Her IG. I gotta look at it. Hold on, because I don't want to be wrong. Is t.slateu, and her actual page is t.solidpt. So shout out to my friend. We go way back, actually, like since high school. She's always been nice to me. We just been locked in. But shout out to her. If you're in the Atlanta or the East Atlanta, is it East Atlanta? Southwest Atlanta, sorry. If you're in the Southwest Atlanta area, definitely go stop by and get your hair right, because one thing about it, Miss Otisha, she gonna get you right on the braids, okay? And a retwist, so please don't play with my girl. Anyways, on to today's episode. We're gonna be themes of sexuality, orgies, sexual health, and sexual identity is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. But let's hop into that generational damage. That is what Otisha put in for our topic on introduction topics. It's generational damage and what we need to know. Society has imposed strict norms around sexuality, promoting abstinence, modesty, or traditional gender roles. And I kind of want to go into that and talk about it because this is particularly common in the Black community. We are the ancestors, baby. And I know a lot of Black people consider ancestral veneration demonic, but whatever. But that's something we hold near and dear to our heart. Like a lot of traditions that our ancestors practice, we do it unknowingly to this day. And it's like our DNA is literally made up of like codes of ancestral messages. So we're going to talk about generational values, religion, slavery, shame and silence, cycle of control and suppression. The normal. But I guess it always stems back to the grandparents. And they kind of if your grandparents were alive, during the slavery, the slave trade, all of that, being fresh off the plantation and not having any type of role models or any examples of what to be, because all your life you've been told what to do, how to move, when to move, and mind you, this was beaten into you. It wasn't just told to you or you was just seeing it. This has been tortured into your souls. So for them, it's they had to create their own version of what a Black example is. And then we had to look to, probably other slaves that basically had the courage to break free and rather die or at least try to escape before they be somebody's prisoner. And I think we should definitely start calling them, instead of slaves, I think we should call them prisoner of war, because that's basically what it was. So they, excuse you, you're yelling. So they basically had to be their own example of black. They had to be their own example of elegance in our terms, and not just ballroom dancing and big hair and fancy dress. We had to make our own culture and our own society. So that's why the Black Wall Street will always be important. Things of that nature, where we had to take our first steps at building the society that we have now. Basically, everyone's outlook of life has been built on the Indians, the blacks, people of that nature, who have dedicated themselves to building something outside of Western beauty standards. And that's also why, like, HBCUs will always be important in the black community. And I know with what's going on in the news, it's kind of like it's very sad and it's traumatic, and it kind of paints a bad outlook on HBCUs. But naturally, I mean, once something is built, it's only a matter of time before it's destroyed. And I just feel like we can destroy ourselves from the inside out better than anyone can. It's horrible. But it still will always be important, no matter if it was given to us by a white man, it was given to us on plantation land. It's important for us to know, for us to have places where we hold value and where we hold sacredity at, because a lot of things aren't sacred anymore. So I'm not trying to go on a whole rant about black power, Black Wall Street, black income, but I am, because to my core, I love seeing, like, us establish something for ourselves, and not just hip hop and R&B and like anything that's in the entertainment industry, because they love to make black people puppets. They love us to broadcast our talents and show our gifts so they can manufacture it and put it in the next little pop star that's going to come out soon. You know, selling our excellence, selling our soul, selling our aura, if you will, to everybody else, you know? Yeah, you hear my baby in the back. Black power. So I think it's important to honor our people who came before us, because they did set the standard. But, you know, there's always a downside to that, and that downside being the toxic behavior patterns, the slapping you upside your head for like the slightest little things, the pimp and hoe mentality, struggle love, goddamn heavy on the struggle love, toxicity, just all type of things that was created because, you know, we never had any examples of what we should be. So now that we fast forward to today's era, you know, we've done so many things. We still have this plantation mindset in 2025, and it's just continually evolving. It's going down. It's like Beyonce. Each decade, it just gets better and better. I don't know. So we've reincarnated a lot of toxic energy out into the world, and that energy is so strong and vibrant that for it to be low vibrational, it is very high vibrational, because a lot of people embody that without even realizing that they're following in years of suppression and years of hatred and bigotry towards ourselves, that they don't understand like who they are anymore. They are the concentration camps known as the hood. They're still stuck in that mindset. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, he's screaming. You know, but we get so caught up in these concentration camps known as the hood that it just, our mind, we no longer have a mind. Like at a birth, we already done lost our mind, and it's tragic. But we're really here to talk about like how these cycles affect us now, because like I was saying, slavery has been embedded in our, I said embedded in our very DNA. We come into the world still feeling the pain and torment of our ancestors from 400 years ago, from 60 years ago, from the civil rights. Like, that wasn't that long ago. I know they try to show you pictures in black and white instead of in color because they want to literally make us think it was so long ago when it was literally 60, 70 years ago. Like, we have grandparents and great grandparents that old. Like, it wasn't that long ago. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna talk about how that just like that plays a part in who we are, because we don't know who we are because I'm saying because forgive me if I sound like extra country today. I don't know, for some reason my accent just went full out on me, and I can't remember the last time I was just this country speaking. Okay, so side note. But I guess I'll go ahead and get into the first topic now that I've got this out of the way with this generational damage stuff, because it's gonna play. We're talking about anything sex, right? So it's gonna play a part in how we view sex because of what our ancestors went to. They were raped so many times, just brutalized in the worst ways possible. So now they don't really understand what sex is and what's good sex. All black people ever know is rough, tough, beat the pussy up. Like, I'm sorry, it's not funny, but that's all we know. We don't know nothing else, and it's heartbreaking. I know there are some black people, that don't think like that, but it's too strong of a majority not to speak on the majority rather than the minority. This shit's getting bigger. It's like, the example I'm really getting here is like light basically is becoming absorbent light. They're raising its frequency so high that they're making this shit look like it's just this what it's supposed to be. This is black pride being ignorant. Lord, I don't know how the beginning of this segment turned into me talking about about black people and the black struggle, because it's literally warfare on us. It keeps us suppressed because everything you know about a black person, everything you've heard about a black person is of ignorance. Like, we're just illiterate in other people's eyes. So I speak a lot. I speak to the generations who can understand this and who is meant to understand it, but more so I speak to the black population because naturally that's first topic we're going to be talking about is sexual identity. Refers to how an individual perceive, experience, and express their sexuality. And I have a great, and I do mean great, quote by Cary Grant. I saw this the other day. I was scrolling on Facebook and I was like, wow, the universe really put this right here so I can put this into my podcast. Like, it's crazy. So a direct quote from Cary Grant would be, not to completely explore one's sexuality would be like an actor playing only one character for life. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, yes. Because since I was just talking about struggles that are common within the black community and how we have this passed down disintegration of our minds, why not put that in there? Because a lot of time, remember in episode 1 when I was saying a lot of times black kids don't get to express their sexuality, their sexuality or express themselves because they've already been programmed to be one thing. And then when they go against that one thing, they get basically called gay, and how that forced kids and boys into like homosexuality. Okay, well, this the time we're gonna talk about it. Okay, we're gonna talk about that. But the sexual identity, what does it like mean to the local black child? Like, if you ask a black child right now in the hood, you will say, what's your sexual identity? They'll look at you like, what the fuck do you mean? What the fuck is my sexual identity? They be like, no gay shit. Like, I'm straight. Like, but it goes further than just, are you bisexual? Are you gay? Are you straight? Your sexual identity is you, because that is, you're operating from your sacral chakra. That is you. That is the essence that you embody. So a lot of times that chakra is thrown off because we have poor examples of sexuality. When we see it, it's just slutty, whore, thrown in your face, nasty, perversion, lust, very demonic lust energy. And it's not like, you don't have to make things so religious, but there should be some type of morality. It does not, sex and sexuality should not just be all out there like freely, and not in a place of where the artist or the muse is in a place where they feel like they are being glorified, but in a good way, in a state of passion, not in a state of lustful eyes. You see, when you have the lustful gaze, when you have the lustful man who is driven to big tits and big booties and all type of other nasty shit, right? It creates an energy that feeds into stereotypes, that feeds into racism. It feeds into the black woman's defamation, because it shows us in a setting of always having to be on display rather than admiring the muse without wanting to see the muse undressed, you know, leaving something for the imagination. And there's nothing wrong with being out there if it's the muse's choice. It don't be the muse's choice a lot. It just usually be because they've been labeled as such at a young age for no reason, and just stigmas. They label these young girls and young boys as certain archetypes when they didn't even try to sit down and get to know these muses. They just put labels onto them because that's what they know, that's what they're used to, that's what it'll always be. So a lot of times these babies are just ostracized at a young age, and it kind of forces sexual trauma onto them because they've been sexualized at a young age, and it's at an age where their bodies aren't mature, their minds aren't mature enough to handle certain things and certain topics. So it's like they just put on a brave face and just go with it because, you know, all the time it's adults who are saying these things to these young kids, and they don't have the time to really understand who they are or even experience certain things with people of their age, because you got your horny freaky auntie up here fucking on 12 and 13-year-old little boys, and now they're grown up to think they weren't victims and they're just perfectly normal, and that's how you be a man, and that's how men are raised. Like, they're not raising men. They're, yes, do you have something you like to say? So a lot of times these young boys think they're not victims, but in reality they're the biggest victims. A lot of time men be more attracted to little boys than they are little girls, but that's a topic for another day. So yeah, a lot of times when black kids express their sexuality, they have to be of the alt community, the emo community, the rainbow community, and not the gay community. I literally mean the aesthetic, like the girls that wear like all the like accessories, you know, with the bright colors, cute makeup. Like, their makeup really BT, okay? Those girls, those are who I'm referring to. They have to be of that kind of community, or they have to be of the LGBT plus community. So a lot of times kids just don't get the proper way to grow up the way they should. They don't get anything nowadays because y'all keep having these kids for accessories. Y'all keep having kids by niggas that y'all should have just fucked once and left. But no, and y'all want to be in love with your fucking sneaky links and shit. Like, back in 2020, or was that 2019, when people started to fall in love with their sneaky links and that was a whole trend, you bitches right then and there should have nipped it in the bud. It was ridiculous right then and there. What? So, yeah. These kids just don't know how to express themselves, and the only way they do express themselves is from what they see on TV and what the latest 28-year-old celebrity is wearing. Yeah, my baby really ate my freaking papers. Like, I had all of what I was going to talk about, the questions I was going to ask, everything, and he literally ripped it out of my notebook. About how to identify your sexuality. What makes your identity your sexual identity? Because you have different identities. Your main one would be who you are as a person, like your name, your birthday, all that stuff, right? And then you would have your sexuality identity. That is, what most people really care about. Because it refers more to like how you communicate sexually. How do you communicate in a relationship? How do you communicate sexually? And people, are attracted to energy. They're attracted to sexual energy more because that's the only time people can actually feel a connection, or anybody's energy is during sex. So it's always important to know who you're having sex with. I guess you start by first really thinking about what turns you on. Not necessarily in that sense, but in that sense as well, because I mean, what you're attracted to, what is cute to you, all the way down to the makeup that people wear. You need to figure out what is attracting to you, and then see like, why are you attracted? Because sometimes you can pick up on certain demons without even realizing you're picking up on demons because you're attracted to it. So you need to see, because the people that you're attracted to is just a mirror of yourself and what qualities. If you're operating in an insecure energy, you're always going to attract the negative rather than the positive. So if you're operating in a negative state of mind, you're going to attract negative state of mind people. They probably have good qualities, some good qualities, but they operate in the bad. So you really are you're really attracting your shadow, basically. So you should see what turns you on and what do you find attractive. What is something that really just gets you there? Like, I can see myself talking to you. I can see myself, if you're stronger in feelings, hey, I can see us being in a relationship. And that's one way to identify your sexual identity, because once you know what you're attracted to, you'll understand how you want to express that. You'll learn how to embody the energy that you're really attracted to. And a part of your sexual identity is parts of you. So think of who you are as a person. Look at your birth chart. Look at all of that. And put that into perspective as it revolves around sex, or as it revolves around, like, you being in a relationship. So also that can go hand in hand with if you like same-sex genders. When you're having intercourse, you just want to be protected spiritually and physically. Who you like definitely plays a part in your sexual identity. How do you feel like expressing it? And your sexual identity can tie into your sexual orientation. Your sexual behaviors can even tie in from the kind of gender you like, depending on, like I said, what are you operating in? Are you operating in negativity or positivity? So if you like the negative aspects of your significant other, then of course you're going to like negative charged sex, because that's what you're attracted to. Or you could just be confused like I was, I would always go after the most toxic people, but I was always the most positive person. And in my head, it was because I thought I could fix them. It's like, no, you just need a mom. You just need some loving and tender and some care. It's okay. You're gonna be all right. Like, and I've attracted literally the worst people you could have fucking imagine because I kept trying to save everybody. Like, putting motherfuckers before I put myself was something I did to a default, and I did it so perfectly I didn't even realize what I was doing. So a lot of things happened, and I got over a lot of things because I start to evaluate the kind of people I like. And a lot of times we think just in a relationship, but even in friendship, like, had I been paying attention more to the type of friends I was attracting, I probably wouldn't be in the situations that I had been in. Like, I just see people as party animals. You know, they just like to have fun. They like to live out a life on the edge, spontaneous. And no problem with that. But here's the thing. I embody spontaneous as one of my many traits, not as my lifestyle. Me, I'm a Saturn rule person. So, like, my horizon is Capricorn. So I'm very structured. And I do, like, I have to be the mother of the group, but I have to be the stern mother. The soft, loving mother is that Cancer in me. But being a Capricorn rising, it makes me privy to instructions, upholding the law, you know, being fair, being balanced. Like, I have a lot of responsibilities. I was one of the kids, you know, I was younger in age, but I was very mature for my age. So I had a lot of responsibilities on me, and I had to basically adapt an adult personality, an adult complex. So yeah, it taught me a lot of things about myself, but at the same time, it damaged me in ways that I can't even explain, because it's just like, I have a really great life because of that, because I've been so mature and so upholding, like, the things that I'm experiencing now. And there are 40s who are just now experiencing things like this, like, not just now experiencing things like that, let me rephrase that, still experiencing the same things, because they never changed up their style. They never really identified with themselves, because sexual identity is you. It is who you are as a person. So what you're attracted to is basically what you embody, toxic traits, or you think love is supposed to be toxic because you're naturally inclined to darker level things and, like, more abusive situations, because that's how you feel love. And that's not how it should be, because you'll be 40 years old, literally still going through the same thing that you were going through when you were 21, because you did not learn your lesson, and you don't know how to choose better men or women. So, and I noticed with men like to stay young forever. Like, women like to stay young forever as well, but we like that with, like, beauty products that's gonna keep our face still looking youthful. Men naturally want to embody a youthful essence. That's why sometimes they'll literally be talking to 16, 17-year-old girls, not the perverted ones. Well, that's perversion too. Let's not get it mixed up here, but there's levels to the perversion. You got the pedophilic, and then you got perverted. I'm learning my lessons, and I'm making amends with it, and I'm just moving on, and then actually learning my lesson, and then applying what I've learned from that last election to my current situation. So now I know what to look for in the signs of people, relationships, friendships, anything of that nature, because I know what I don't like, and I know what does not make me feel good and does not release good chemistry. What we're talk about is basically the same as the first sexuality, rather than just sexual identity. So, sexuality encompasses a person's sexual feelings, attractions, behavior, and identity. Your sexuality should not offend people, and if it do, something is wrong with them. They are suffering from plantation mentality. Not sorry, but it does. And just being able to embrace your sexuality, whether you like guys, girls, trans, anything like that. Oh my god, are you serious? A lover of the same sex, right? And you have parents who embraced it, but kind of throw it in your face every time they get the chance. Like, you living under their roof, but they still torment you because you're gay. It can be hard to stand firm in your personality because you're oftentimes getting beat, and not physically. I mean, sometimes can be physically, but mentally and verbally, you're getting beat down with words constantly, over and over and over again. It can kill the soul. That's a lot of time how people lose their souls, because they allow the words to penetrate into their sacral areas in their center, their hearts. And it hurts. And it's hard to go through it. I was just saying to myself today, the energy I had felt, it was like, oh my God, if I constantly lived in that energy all the time too, I would be a dead soul. Probably, like they would. But then again, because it's me, probably you start to lose hope in humanity. You start to lose hope in yourself to like be better, and just thinking that you can rise above plantation. They don't have any good intentions for you. They are literally driving you insane just because you like something different from what they like. It's almost like they are embarrassed. Like, I don't get it, but these things have been beat into us because, like we were talking about, the generational trauma, and that's the only thing we had. That's the only source we knew, so we took that and incorporated it into our homes. And let me put this out here as well, because we actually fought those stereotypes. Hence why you have people like on the show, the Bill Cosby show, like the Cutsibles. You know how they're very polished, very well, elegant, that up north standard, signifying defiance. That was us saying, hey, we have class too. Hey, we can do it better, actually, because when when black people get money, child, you thought you knew them. So, but it was a signal that we can have wealth too, and it rivets white people. So when they see a black person with more money than them, it triggers like this racist, infuriating, burning passion. Like they get so riled up, like it's ridiculous. But when you naturally embody richness, when you embody a rich energy, your soul cannot be broken. That triggers irritated, agitated, broken-hearted demons. And it can make people lash out on you in the worst ways possible, just because you like something else from what they like. And sexuality does not have to oftentimes be so out there. Sexuality can go hand in hand with sensuality. Black people being able to express their sexuality without it being on display as a art of lust and just perversion. Because black people are the most loving people you can ever imagine. Like, we tend to take people under our wings, even though they plan to do us bogus, and they have done us bogus, but we still You know, we love raising somebody else's child. Sexuality and sex and orgies and all this good stuff. We should talk about sexual vampires, aka energy stealers, like people who have sex just for another person's energy, and they are very much aware of this energy that other people embody. That's how they know how to get the energy. Like, it's not even on some, oh, you know, it was undercover and deep behind the stars, we knew what it was. It's not that. It's outright in your face. Hey, I'm an energy vampire and I'm gonna take your energy. Like, these motherfuckers be studying occult knowledge and everything. When you're dealing with people like that, you need to understand they come in groups. So if you have some type of sexual sexual frustration in you, and you're fighting to stay in one world, like your worlds are splitting, the good is colliding with the bad, your shadow is trying to come out. It comes, and it's very much inevitable. Like, only time a breakdown can really be intervened is literally when it's intervened by somebody else. And this is why we say, like, oh, you help somebody, you help somebody avoid their karma, but the negative side to that is you now taking on those people karmas, because you took that energy from them, gave them your energy, and now they done ran off and want to go back to their old ways and live on the playground with their new and brand new energy. And you over here going through hell thinking you're losing your mind and shit. It's just, you need to get them people's energy off you. This is what soul ties can tie into. This is sex interchange, energy change, all of that. This is that demonic side, that incubus and that succubus waiting to take your energy, and they take it sexually. And when they take it sexually, because they literally they're inside of your opening into your world, so they're in your realm, it's easier to take out, and it's easier to do so than even speaking with words, because when you speak with words, that only affects the outside. Don't let those words affect your inside or get into your inside. You keep it basically on the surface level, and you remain strong. You don't let them see you cry. That's where you become a problem at. That's where they're like, oh hell no, I can't break this nigga. What's going on here? Am I losing my strength? That's why rape exists. Taking one's power by force. I'm telling you. So when you're dealing with energies like that, you have to be conscious. You need to know the signs, the symptoms, what it feels like, what it sounds like, what the words will be that is going to whisper in your ear. Like, you got to be aware. And then you need to also be aware, are you the energy vampire? Because they can definitely go hand in hand. The incubus meeting the succubus, you know, intertwinable. So seeing an energy vampire is to notice how quickly they started making advances, starting to like give you subtle keys, like the flirt and love bombing goes hand in hand with this. Always look for the love bombing. The love bombing, and then they try to do it in the most toxic way, like y'all just playing like y'all Yvette and Jodeci. No, that motherfucker is really Jodeci. When you have that kind of energy around, you need to check yourself and check when did you invited this kind of energy, and are you morphing into a succubus? Like, you need to be checking, what are you consuming? What type of media are you feeding your eyes? What thoughts are you giving yourself? What commands are you giving yourself? It's not gonna work out the way people want it to work. It's not gonna work out the way you want it to work out. You call it when you internally talk to yourself. You need to be self-realizing or self-aware. I don't know why the hell I said self-realizing. You need to be self-aware of all the conscious and unconscious spells that are being thrown your way. At any given time, somebody can say abracadabra on your ass, and then they'll disguise it with a sweet little bow of make it sound friendly, make it sound like it's a joke. It's not a joke. This is war, people. We're at war, and the only way you're gonna win is you have to be in check of your mind. That everything is not gonna be in the physical. Things are gonna be in the spiritual more times than it will be in the physical first. Pay attention to the thoughts and the way you disassociate when you're around certain energies. Pay attention to the creepy thoughts that come into your head when you're around certain people. Pay attention to all of the signs and the synchronicities when you're around certain people. Pay attention to when the burb is shitting and you're around certain people. It usually will show up it's gonna show up, and you just have to be ready to see it in the physical, because once you realize it in the spiritual, it's gonna reveal itself to you in the physical. And once it's revealed to you, that means you're at the final part of your test. So you need to, or either the beginning part, depending on how the test was sent to you. You have to be ready, and then you also need to be realizing what did you manifest during this time, because let me tell you, spiritual goblins get sent your way when you're manifesting something big and something new for yourself, when you're manifesting a new mindset, a new idea, a new project, a new creative endeavor. Watch the energies, watch the battles you begin to fight, watch the thoughts that begin to overtake your mind. So if you don't understand when things are in your face but you're not clearly receiving the downloads, you need to check your sacral chakra. Think of what is attacking you sexually. Think of, you know how you just randomly, it'll pop in your head that of a wet dream or something, like a wet thought of somebody? Pay attention to that. See who's pulling on your sexual energy, because as the high priestess or the high priest, your sexual or your sacral chakra needs to be balanced. It's one of the most important chakras, if not the most important. And all the chakras are important, but some play bigger roles than certain chakras do. So pay attention to what chakras you see, or what colors you're seeing that embody that energy of that chakra. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be out here climbing up a stream without a paddle. You gotta stay focused, and keep that focus on you yourself and prioritizing yourself first, because you are going to have an imbalance whenever you're not balanced yourself. You have too many sexual thoughts. You're having too little sexual thoughts. You're thinking of other people too much. You're thinking of sex rather than pleasuring yourself. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But thank you for coming to my Spotify podcast this week. I guess Thursday. Do y'all Thursday consider the weekend for y'all? Anyways, whatever. Thank you for coming to my podcast. Thank you for coming to the Cabaret and having a drink and speaking with us, staying for the opening act, I really appreciate it. If you've got this far, and just continue to be great. Continue to put yourself first, and don't waver your flag in resistance. Well, yeah, I said that right. I don't know. I just want you to know you're amazing, and you have what it takes to get to the next level. You are extraordinary for a reason, and I'm proud of you for I'm proud of you for choosing to evolve and not get stuck on the same playing field as immortals who lost their souls because they got too many mistakes they had too many mistakes and they didn't value themselves and what they bring to the table. But you value what you bring to the table, and you value yourself, and you value your responsibilities, and I'm proud of you for that. My son is proud of you for that. Much love to you, divine one, receptive one. Much love to your spirit, to your upbringing, to your struggles, to your peace. Salutations, and I'll see you next week. I love you. Bye-bye.